Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
A very good evening to you with a Saturday, July 6th edition of CBC Newsnight. I'm Ryan Broom in our top story. A Barbados-registered jet ski matching the one used by two missing American visitors almost 2 weeks ago has been recovered, floating off the coast of Guadeloupe by French Navy officials. And of course, we'll continue to bring you updates on that story. Now, Prime Minister Motley says the decision for the future moves by CARICOM to explore the feasibility of establishing an Africa-Brazil-Caribbean Diaspora Commission is significant. Now, the announcement came as the 40th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community wrapped up in St. Lucia. Heads have agreed to establish a Prime Ministerial subcommittee in this regard. That committee will be led by Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Now, Ms. Motley says the commission is in recognition of the three areas of shared common interest.
These common interests need now to be bridged in a way that reinforces the options for our society as well as for our economies. And to that extent, we want to have a strategic approach to it. And Prime Minister Gonsalves, the President of Suriname, and myself will serve on the committee, but it will be open-ended to all member states because this is something we expect to deliver for us.
Meanwhile, Barbados is welcoming support from the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez for small island states who continue to be excluded from access to development assistance and concessional financing. In their push, SIDS are calling for the vulnerability criteria to be added in addition to gross national income per capita. Mr. Gutierrez, in an address at the opening of the recent CARICOM meeting, said that having visited several small island developing states in the Pacific and the Caribbean, he has not found one that was not vulnerable. Now, Prime Minister Motley says SIDS have inherent vulnerabilities that cannot be discounted.
It has been almost 20 years that we've been waging this battle, and to have the formal recognition at the opening ceremony of this Heads of Government meeting was indeed a momentous occasion for us. And it is upon this that we have now to build and to ensure that the exclusion of access by many of our countries from official development assistance or concessional funding ought to be reconsidered, given the fact that regardless of how well we may appear to be doing, within 48 to 72 hours, our entire existence can change in this region during the month of September.
Now, Ms. Motley, who has lead responsibility for the CSME, is hopeful when the leaders meet in Bridgetown next February at their intersessional summit, there will be agreement on a number of key aspects.
The work towards regional harmonization with the stock exchange, the credit rating bureau, the whole question of a common investment policy. Similarly, there are some definitional issues that we're trying to sort out with respect to fisheries workers. So we've separated fisheries workers from agricultural workers. This is the nitty-gritty of execution to provide the level of certainty that will give our citizens the comfort that we want them to have. Of course, we have made significant progress in the last year with the establishment of the contingent rights.
In other news now, insurance companies are being encouraged to extend their coverage to include holistic medical treatments. This call from Member of Parliament for St. Philip North, Dr. Sonia Brown. She was speaking on the sidelines of Cancer Support Services' 8th annual conference.
I think that's one of the things we need to look at, not only with holistic medicine, but in terms of getting treatment even outside of Barbados. They tend to go with the cheaper perspective rather than the more effective perspective, and I think insurance companies need to do something about that, one. And two, everybody cannot afford health insurance. And this is the way that I think Barbados needs to go. Obviously, the government has to provide some sort of financial aid to people, to a lot of people, but we need to get the rates and benefits somehow available and to the general public.
Now, Dr. Brown is, however, wary of holistic practitioners who promise patients a cure if they stop taking medication prescribed by traditional medical doctors.
I've seen people with breast cancer, for instance, that have died because of careless actions like that. We have a lot to learn, and I will admit this is not one of the things that we would have studied in medical school. Maybe sometime in the future it will become a part of it if it isn't already. I left medical school a little while back. But we need to embrace the holistic medical practitioners and understand that this is the way patients are going. People want to feel, how should I say, that they're taken as a whole individual rather than a cancer or a tumor. And I think the medical practitioners, the medical field is coming around.
Welcome back. Well, in some crime news now, a Christchurch man is dead after being beaten by a group of men early this morning in the city. The deceased has been identified as 43-year-old Rupert Patrick Stout of Inchmarlow. The incident unfolded in Fairchild Street about 24 minutes to 2. When police arrived, an injured Stout was lying on the ground. Now, he was taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by ambulance and was later pronounced dead. In other news now, over 30 artists took to the stage during last night's MQI 98.1 The One Soca Monarch semi-finals at the Kensington Oval. Among them were newcomers, popular artists and veterans. Lisa Lord reports.
It was a long night of top-class performances. 30 artists taking to the stage to belt out some of the biggest songs for the season before an appreciative crowd. But in the end, only 14 would impress the judges enough to make it to the finals. Those making the cut are first-timer Betty B with Nah Holding Back, Marvey with Summer, Faith All Night, Adrian Clark singing I Like It,
Oh, I like it, baby. Yes, I like it, baby. Sexy, girl, come give me what me want. Sexy, girl, come give me what me need.
Jamal Slocum with Alive,
I feel alive. So tired. Look how we jamming now.
Just D, So What,
So what? So what? Who cares if you like me or not? You don't put food in me pot. You never buy nothing that me got.
Marsville, Oh Me,
Now give me, start to wine now. Give me what you got for me. Give me what you got for me. Give me what you got for me.
Natalie, Why We Living.
This is why we live. Lift the heady music calling. Every party night and morning. Let this be business.
Sanctuary, I Pledge.
I pledge. And it just to mash up the place. To mash up the place. I pledge. And it just to jam up the waist. To jam up the waist. I pledge.
Shaquille singing Darling.
Sing. Darling, it's only you that's the one that I need. For real.
Skung Young, So Happy.
Come Mr. DJ man, put on a soca jam. Make me happy, yeah. Forget me worry.
Biggie Irie, Magic.
I am a sweet soca magician. I'm gonna make you sway away, sway.
TC, Music.
I want you to hold somebody and jump, jump to the music. Oh Lord, put something in your hand. If you can't refuse it, oh Lord, you can do without it.
And a Lead Pipe with Sometime.
And you already have a mind, but I can be your sunshine. Baby, call me sometime.
The reserve for the competition is Bobo.
Yeah, what for you learn to do that? The way how you dipping like bidding.
The finalists will come up against reigning Sweet Soca King Lil Rick and Party Monarch Mikey on July 28th at the National Botanical Gardens at Waterford. Lisa Lord, CBC News.